People have been talking about that. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and he was concerned with what I would call FOMO, fear of missing out on investing in, the regret that, oh, I invested in Tesla, I didn't invest in Nvidia. And the conversation I had with my friend, can you guys hear me okay, by the way? Um, I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Um, yeah. So the issue with Nvidia that I have trouble with is a good choppy. Okay, I'm not sure what to do with choppy. I'll try to get closer and maybe louder, and there's a motorboat in the background too. So the thing with for me, I've been researching and paying attention to Tesla since 2015 and investing in Tesla since 2016. And when it comes to Nvidia, I'm aware of the company. I think they make great products. I think that they're executing extremely well, but I don't have a model. I don't see the future with Nvidia the same way that I see the future with Tesla. It's like I can't say, oh, I should have invested in Nvidia instead of Tesla because I don't understand Nvidia the company in the same way that I understand Tesla the company. By the way, you might be hearing waves. There's waves coming in, so you might be hearing waves. That might be the dropouts. Um, so, and I've got some weird lighting issues, as you can see. The phone is casting a shadow on my face. Hello, Dallas. So the challenge with Nvidia is, well, what's the story? What's the long-term valuation for Nvidia? Now, there's a couple of things that I see with Nvidia. The first thing I see is great company moats. This is the thing we talk about with Tesla a lot. What are the moats, right? With Tesla, we see that manufacturing is a huge advantage. We see that software is a huge advantage. We see that these engineers, that the engineering at Tesla is outstanding. And there's so many advantages that you see if you really dive into Tesla. So that's something that really stands out. When I look at Nvidia, I see moats. There's this thing called CUDA, C-U-D-A, which is like a software advantage that Nvidia has, software libraries. But how big is that moat? It's a moat, but is that moat that substantial that it can't be overcome in the same way the challenge of overcoming, let's say with FSD, Tesla has 5 million cars with cameras and hardware in them collecting data. And they've been building this data set and building this engineering around autopilot and FSD for probably close to a decade, and nobody else has the cameras in the cars yet, so they're not generating the data. That's a pretty big moat. Tesla's moat in terms of, the structural cast, the single piece, the castings, giga castings, the 4680 battery manufacturing. There's so many things that Tesla has going on that are moats that are, you just don't see other car companies doing it. The over-the-air updates, so many different things. Apple M1 and Tesla D1 chips are better. I'm not sure whether the chips are better. I don't have an opinion on that. Whether the Dojo chips are better, that I'm not. Nvidia's doing a really good work. So one issue is, where do they stand relative to the competition? I don't think Nvidia's moats are that substantial that it will be hard for somebody who invests a lot of money will be able to catch up and compete with them. I'm wearing the Tesla's the next Tesla t-shirt, by the way, elonbits.com. So that's a challenge. Now, here's the other side of this. The market for AI chips may be so large that competition just doesn't matter. No matter how much competition comes along, if Nvidia maintains, let's say, a 50% market share, if the market is growing super fast, a 50% market share of a much, much larger market may explain the valuation. The problem is, here's the bigger problem that I see for Nvidia on the horizon. And this is from listening to Elon and hearing other sources that back it up and just sort of understanding the logic. There's a looming voltage transformer shortage. That you can buy all the chips you want. If you can't get electricity to them, then they can't do anything. So the demand for AI chips is limited to some extent by the availability of voltage transformers to bring the electricity down from the grid to the chip level. That's one limitation. Now, the next limitation is as the market for chips grows, this is mind-boggling, but the volume of electricity demand generated by AI server farms is getting to the point where in a few years, maybe 5 years, it's going to be half of total electricity demand in the United States. Like the demand from these AI chip server farms is just absolutely monstrous. There may not be enough electricity generation to power them all, right? And one of Elon's goals with Dojo, and one of the things he says is going to be critical for the future of AI, is maximizing the efficiency of compute, the energy efficiency of compute. And I don't know if Nvidia is really leading in terms of the efficiency of their computing power. So those are just some thoughts right off the bat on Nvidia. Like, if you feel like you missed out on Nvidia, like I understand that they're doing really well right now, but like, is there some kind of ceiling, at least in the short to medium term, on their ability to do what they're doing? I'm not sure what the answer to that question is. I think that's an important question that people ought to think about. Now, let me turn to Tesla. Let's see if I can pull this up. Damn it. I had the page up. I had it up. I have a post on X where I think it was, James Cat, who I call Tesla Cute Cat, has a post where he was critical about Tesla. Let me read his post first, or summarize his post. He talks about when he started investing in Tesla in the fall of 2019, FSD was not included in his Tesla bull thesis. FSD has always been included in my Tesla bull thesis, just to be clear. Since I started videoing in 2019, 2020, FSD robo-taxi model has been critical. And he's saying that Tesla in 2014 and Tesla in 2019 are different companies. Stretch goal used to be 20 million EVs in 2030. Now the stretch goal is robots and robo-taxis. And he thinks the probability of Tesla achieving their objectives in this reality is much, much lower. So he looks at his original thesis. He doesn't think Tesla's going to be anywhere near 20 million vehicles in 2030. I think he may be right, but they may get there in 2031 or 2032, and that doesn't really matter a whole lot to me. But he says the auto business, which makes up the lion's shares of Tesla earnings, is struggling to grow. It's growing. There's a pause. It's a slow growth period. It's relatively slow growth, as in 40% or 20% growth, which would be spectacular for any other industry. But the next generation vehicle is coming, and it's like he doesn't believe in FSD. He doesn't believe in Tesla bot. He doesn't believe in the next generation vehicle. I don't know what the hell this guy believes in. He doesn't believe in anything. So, I don't understand these fake bulls. Like, why are you invested in Tesla if you don't believe in the investment thesis? So my question is, what's your thesis for investing in whatever you're investing in? So I started investing in Tesla. There's a fundamental reason why I invest in Tesla, why I started investing in Tesla, and it dates back to December 21, 2015. December 21, 2015 is the date that SpaceX landed the first orbital rocket booster. Okay? And that was a game changer for the space industry. And I saw that and I said, hey, an innovator who can pull that off, what else can he pull off? And I was already aware of Tesla, but I started buying stock in Tesla. And over time, I researched more. I paid attention to Gali and Dave Lee and Rob Maurer and other Tesla YouTubers. And by 2019, I was so into it, I started making my own videos about SpaceX and then about Tesla. And so I developed my own thesis. So the start of my thesis, the core of my thesis really is the innovation at Tesla is over the top. The company is led by an innovator like no other in history. Okay, someone who can land orbital rocket boosters. Look at where SpaceX is today, the dominance in the rocket industry, right? An industry that everybody thought there's no way you're going to succeed, right? And look at the auto industry. Oh, there's no way Tesla's going to succeed. There's no way Tesla's going to succeed. Well, Tesla is now a profitable company. Tesla is now doing well. Tesla is now the leader in electric vehicles. Arguably, you could argue that BYD is the leader, but Tesla makes more profit per vehicle, and Tesla is innovating faster than anybody else. So, yeah, I invested. So Evan says I started investing because of Elon. Knew early was different. But let me step away from the okay, Elon is great approach, and I would say it's not just Elon. I think one of the things that people don't take into account with Elon is it's not just that he's an innovator, it's that he builds great teams who focus on innovation. So whether it's Gwynne Shotwell and the rest of the team at SpaceX, Tom Mueller, he's left, he's gone now, but there's so many great people at SpaceX, there's so many great people at Tesla, Drew Baglino, Lars Moravi, and the team, and you watch their presentations and you realize how many great people are working there. Yeah, the Apple car is coming, right? So what if Apple invented reusable rockets? Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. So I want to just lay out, when I first started really modeling Tesla, I had two basic models. The first model is the battery revenue model, which is how many gigawatt hours or terawatt hours of batteries will they use in products, let's say in 2030, and how much revenue will those products generate? So what's the revenue per kilowatt hour? What's the revenue per gigawatt hour, right? The other big model that drove me early on was the robotaxi model. The robotaxi model is, let's assume Tesla has 10 million robotaxis of their own, generating $50,000 a year in gross profit. And I can back up all this stuff. And if you follow me, you've seen this before. Well, that's $500 billion a year in gross profit, which is 25x where they are roughly now. That's a game changer. The battery revenue model is if they have, let's say, 2 terawatt hours of products. In the past, I had 6 terawatt hours, but I'm down to 2 terawatt hours. And they're making $500 a kilowatt hour on average, right? 2 terawatt hours times $500 a kilowatt hour, that works out to something like, I don't know, was that like $1 trillion a year in revenue? Sorry, yeah, that's like $1 trillion a year in revenue. Well, that's pretty good, right? That's a pretty big jump in value. So yeah, and mega pack factories are coming. I think what we don't see is what's the plan for ramping mega pack factories after the China, as they're about to start building the next mega factory in China. So those are the two models. Now and then the third model more recently was for Optimus. Like, all right, if Tesla produces Optimus, what's it going to cost them to build a robot? How much revenue is it going to generate? How many robots will they make? And you just get, like with robotaxi, you end up with insane numbers. So the events over the past, I would say, year or two have diminished my sense of the battery revenue model. The battery revenue model leaves out the potential increase in revenue per kilowatt hour due to robotaxi or Optimus. Right? And so if you just assume ordinary revenue, $500 a kilowatt hour, something like that, and you drop the expected terawatt hours from 6 to 2, well, you get a pretty big drop in the value. It's still a gain. It's still a significant increase in the size of the company, but it's not as big a deal as it was before. So that part of my modeling of Tesla has been affected by events, right? But the robotaxi model is unaffected as long as they develop FSD. Like, it doesn't matter whether they develop FSD in 2024, 2025, 2026. As long as FSD is working and they have a working robotaxi fleet by 2030, or let's say 2031 or 2032, if it really matters, right? Because I'm not selling stock until in 2030, right? When you're looking that far out, the game really hasn't changed. On robotaxi, the Optimus model is more recent, but the game really hasn't changed. I haven't modeled it yet, but I think Dojo is another potential game changer with the potential $1 trillion market cap in Dojo alone. And there may be other startups in Tesla that have even more value that I'm not aware of, right? So just on there's like 3 models existing that already. So my investment thesis. This comes back to my question: what's your investment thesis? My investment thesis, I've just laid it out for you. Battery revenue model, not bad, still some growth. Robotaxi model, insane growth. Optimus model, insane growth. Dojo model, pretty substantial growth. There's a lot of good stuff here. So, for me, it started with that Falcon 9 landing on December 21, 2015. Some people saw it earlier, like Jason DeBolt, I think Dave Lee, I think Gali. They saw it earlier. They saw the potential in Tesla before I did, and they invested earlier. Some people haven't seen it yet. But I had that moment when the first booster landed. Some people might see it when the first Starship returns from orbit. Some people might see it when the first Starship lands on the moon and brings astronauts to the moon or brings cargo to the moon. First Starship lands on Mars or catch a super heavy booster. There's a lot of different engineering feats that SpaceX is likely to accomplish in the next few years that might wake more people up. Neuralink in human patients. William, what's horrible to watch? Someone's saying this is horrible to watch. Is this, what's the horrible part? I'm not hearing this from anyone else but William, so I don't know what the there. So I think there's a lot of different events that will happen over the course of time. Neuralink, I don't think the Boring Company is going to change anybody's mind, but Neuralink might change people's minds. Grok might cross some threshold. Putting Grok in the cars, it's hard to say. And then, the first time that when Tesla removes the nags on FSD, when Tesla says, you can use FSD and you don't need nags anymore. The first robo-taxi that operates. It's buffering, but we get it. I don't have full control over that. So I invested in the most innovative company that's traded on public markets. That's what I invested in. I still feel like that's the solid investment that I made. And I'm still all in. So my question for other people is, what's your thesis for, if you're invested in Tesla, what's your thesis for Tesla? If you're invested in some other company, what's your thesis for this other company? Do you have a model in mind that persuades you that this company that you're invested in is better? Yeah, I can't do anything about the other. It's the Gulf of Thailand? Gulf of Thailand. Or maybe I'm on the other side. I think I'm on the other side now. So I should know where I am. So let me turn and let's see what else I got. I got the thesis. So Mayor Thacker is somebody I've had on my channel before. Mayor said it's getting harder and harder to defend Tesla's 55x forward price earnings ratio right now when we have both slowing volume growth and operating earnings in absolute dollars in decline for 5 to 8 quarters. So that's a short-term perspective. We do have slowing vehicle volume growth for the short term. I expect that volume growth in 2024 will be less than the volume growth was in 2023, which was less than the volume growth in 2022. And 2025 probably isn't going to be that big. I'm not sure. 2025 might be bigger. 2026 is the year when volume growth starts taking. We have faster vehicle growth coming. We have game-changing revenue and profit technologies coming soon in full self-driving, Optimus, and Dojo, and maybe others. So if you are freaking out about, is there somebody I need to delete from the chat? Unfortunately, when I do a live stream like this, I can't put the time limits on the chat, and I can't. Yeah, I can't limit it to only subscribers. So yeah, I think things are fine. I think people are freaking out unnecessarily. So another friend of mine asked me the question. Let's see. He said, "My friend is thinking about buying a ton of Tesla shares. Do you think $175 USD is $175 is a good entry point for the stock?" And I just respond. Point. I can't stress this enough. This is not the channel to watch if you want to know, is this a good time to buy Tesla? Because I think it's always a good time to buy Tesla. Well, that was interesting. Let's try this way. I'm sorry about that. Let's see if this is better. We're having fun here. And I said, if someone believes in market timing, I'm the wrong person to ask. I apply this to any stock, not just Tesla. If you believe in a company, if you believe in the stock, I don't believe you can predict market timing. Hello, hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? Can I comment in the chat? You missed what I just said. Okay. So if you're interested in market timing, I'm the wrong person. I'm the wrong person to ask about market timing. I don't believe in it. Okay, thank you. Next. Oh, hey Brian. Yeah, I don't believe in market timing. I'm the wrong person to ask about market timing. Okay, so we're good. So let me see. Okay, I think that was it. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I do want to, oh, let's see. I wanted to talk about the attorney fees on the lawsuit. There's this lawsuit against Tesla, the shareholder lawsuit, where Elon's pay package was shit canned by a judge in Delaware. And now the lawyers are seeking a nearly $6 billion fee. So I wanted to address the fee request. So I just want people to understand. I understand why non-lawyers see the fee request as unreasonable. But in a contingency fee world, if you believe, this is critical, if you believe that, I just want to address this question. Zazie says, how much money have you lost in Tesla stock year to date with your Tesla stocks? I haven't lost any money. I haven't sold a share. I don't look at my stocks on January 1st and then judge the rest of the year based on how the stocks go. I invested in Tesla starting in 2016, and I'm thinking about 2030, and I just don't care what the stock price is. I actually don't know what the stock price is today. I don't know whether the stock price is 180, if it's 160, if it's 200. I literally have not looked at the stock price today, and I don't care. Because I'm not selling today. I'm not selling this week. I'm not selling this month. I'm not selling this year. What difference does it make what the stock price is if you're not selling it? I don't understand why people freak out. I mean, I understand that people get focused on these topics, but it doesn't matter. The daily stock price is irrelevant if you are a long-term investor. It only matters if you're a trader. Or if you are, listen, if you need the stock to go up, if you're for your ego, for your mentality, for your mental health, you can't be comfortable investing in a stock that goes up and down. Tesla the stock for you. Tesla has always been a highly volatile stock. It's like a 2 or 3, I forget what the term is, a 2 or 3 alpha stock. Like the stock swings with the market like 2 or 3 times what the market swings. So you should not be, if you are a person who is sensitive to these kind of swings, then don't invest in Tesla. Look, you know it went up to 400, you know it went down to 100. If you're freaking out about stock movements like that, this is not the stock for you. You know? So, but I want to get back to this fee question. So in a contingency fee world, in my contingency fee world as a personal injury lawyer, 33% was common. So if you believe that the lawsuit saved Tesla shareholders $55 billion, which is the rough value of the options that Elon lost when the lawsuit threw them out, the value roughly at the time. If you believe that valuation, then 10% is a reasonable contingency fee in a contingency fee world. It's that simple. And under current law, contingency fees in general are considered reasonable at that 10% level. And, maybe 10% would be high in this circumstance, and maybe the judge knocks it down to 9 or 8 or 7%. But a multi-billion-dollar fee is very likely, I think. And it's very possible that there'll be another argument made and something else will happen. Beta, thank you. It's a 3 beta stock or a 2 beta stock or something like that. I don't care whether they're taking options or whatever they're doing. And yeah, Brian, I think I saw your post, Brian. Brian has an interesting post about what options they should get. Evan says, even if it's 10% of an amount that was considered too much. Yeah, I don't have much faith in this judge, so I think the judge is likely to award you a large fee because I don't like the judge, right? But I don't think that is necessarily an unreasonable fee in a contingency fee world. So the thing is, if you want to fix that problem, it's not getting this judge to fix the problem in this one case. It's getting the legislatures in the various states or the federal government or the Congress to change the rules for this kind of lawsuit, for class action lawsuits, for contingency fee lawsuits. That's a better move. And the way you change that is by getting legislatures or Congress to change the law. And the problem is, one of the most effective special interests in America is lawyers. And the lawyers don't want this changed. Congress is filled with lawyers, state legislatures are filled with lawyers. All the lawyers who do this work where they're getting all this money from all these lawsuits are friends with all the lawyers in Congress and all the lawyers in state legislatures. You're very unlikely to get this changed. Contingency fees are carved out of a payment made on the claim. This is out of money saved with no accompanying cash flow. No, the dilution. It saved us some. Look, I'm a shareholder. I own a certain percentage more of the company now because Elon didn't get his stock. There's a value to that dilution. So yeah, Brian is going back in time to 2018. I don't know how the judge is going to assign what, because you could go back to like the $2.3 billion or so that the option package was valued at the time, right? And say 10% of that would be, 230 million. That would be a reasonable approach too. I don't know how this is going to go. I would not be surprised if a judge ruled as of the date that this judgment was granted, the value to Tesla shareholders was $55 billion. 10% of that is $5.5 billion, and that's what I'm awarding. She'll probably compromise a little and come down to $4 billion or $3 billion, and everybody and save us shareholders $2 or $3 billion, and we'll all be thinking, oh my God, this is such a relief. And then the big question is going to be what's going to happen on appeal. I expect Tesla to appeal the case to the Delaware Supreme Court. Is the Delaware Supreme Court going to hold a larger decision? And we're not going to know that for way more than a year. And then there was a question about, I think OpenAI may have made a motion to dismiss Elon's lawsuit in the case against OpenAI, and I haven't read that yet. So Zazie says, how's life in Thailand? I am currently in Krabi, Krabi, Thailand. Life is great here. I did want to mention, because I'm going to wrap this up shortly, I am planning to do a live stream. Right now it's it's approaching 10 o'clock. What time is it? That's not right. That can't be right. What time is it? I don't know. I think my clock's wrong on my other phone. Oh, okay, I know what's going on. It's 10:30 at night here in Thailand, 10:30 in the morning in New York, and 7:30 in the morning in California. I'm planning on doing another live stream tomorrow at 10 o'clock at night here, 10 a.m. Eastern, and that's going to be intensely personal. Okay? Short story is one of my best friends just died. My brother died about a year ago. I forget what this is, a little more than a year ago. My mother died. Whatever. In the past couple of years, I've lost a few people, and I've been doing a lot of thinking and having a lot of conversations with friends. And I'm going to talk a much more personal live stream tomorrow, talking about life. Not talking about Tesla, not talking about Nvidia, mostly not talking about investing, talking about life. Talking about how I think people should think about living your life. I appreciate the condolences, but I'm going to talk tomorrow about that topic. And if you want to hear some deeper thoughts about, there's a reason why I'm in Thailand, right? There's a reason I'm in the way I'm living my life right now. And a lot more than that. There's a lot more going on than just Warren's in Thailand. There's a whole lot of things going on in my life that are good things. And I'm in a great place in life. But I want to relate what I, sort of reflect on all the losses I've experienced in life, dating back to childhood when my brother died, and in my 20s when my father died, and my grandfather, so on. A lot of losses in life. How that's led me to look at life in a lot of different ways, and I hope that that's inspirational for others. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. So thanks, sir. I'm going to do another live stream on X now, same topic I just did here, and I'm probably going to do the same thing tomorrow, where I do the live stream like I'm going to do tomorrow, and I'm going to do the same thing again a half hour later on X. My experience generally, by the way, is that I get a lot more engagement here on YouTube when I do live streams here than I get on X. At some point it may change, and live streaming on X may get better, but I think we're a long way from that. Right now, X is not a great platform for live streaming. It's not a great platform for video, so I expect to be on YouTube for the long future until there's some major change with X that makes it a lot better than it is now. I'm hoping that they improve the video platform there, but right now, as a content creator, it's not a great platform for me to do video. But I try to do it because I try to support the X platform, because I think what they're doing is important. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you particularly to Mark and Mark for moderating the chat. And take care, and I'll be back in about 24 hours, or a little less than 24 hours. I'm going to be back talking about life. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.